How are we, my friends? You are very welcome along to the Anfield Agenda player ratings after Liverpool and Fulham have drawn 2-2 at Craven Cottage. Once again, Liverpool throw away a victory and somehow leave with just 1 point. Very similar to Leeds United, where we went 3-2 up and threw that one away as well. Yes, it was a worldy strike from Reed, and I'm not trying to take away from that, but I can't help but feel deflated, and I'll wait for the fat jokes because I know some people will be trying to write them. But honestly, I'm angry right now, yet again. The words from the manager after the game do nothing for me. We'll talk about it in more detail tonight at 8:45 on the late night agenda, but until then, I'm going to go through the referee, the players, the substitutes, and the manager, giving them all a score out of 10. You know how this works. If you'd like to join us and submit your scores in the future, make sure you're signed up to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp community. You can either scan the QR code in the bottom right hand corner of your screen or have a look in the description of this video. For now, let's get cracking, and we'll start off with Craig Houlden, the referee. Look, one thing I will say in this game is for Wirtz's goal and for Harry Wilson's goal, both of those checks took way too long. Now, they both have ended up with goals being given, and there is some talk that Wirtz could have even been offside. But that alone, this process needs to be sorted out. Fans are hanging around and waiting way too long, and the semi-automated offside system that's supposed to make this quicker didn't seem to be doing that today. That being said, I don't think Craig Houlden did too much wrong from a refereeing perspective in that game. And I know it's easy for us at times to just kind of be frustrated towards the officials, but I thought he was all right, today. Didn't really think he did too much wrong, so I'm going to give him a score of 6, and the audience have gone for a score there of 5.3. Next up, Alisson. I'm starting to get a bit concerned because there are mistakes and errors and a lack of confidence creeping into his game that I don't usually associate with him. Whether it be little slips, misplaced passes, or coming out to the edge of his area and releasing balls instead of pushing them away for the moment where Harry Wilson chipped them to hit the crossbar. He just doesn't seem as assured, but he isn't on his own. The back line, the whole team in general, just don't quite feel at the races. So, being honest, today I'm giving Alisson a score of 4.5. And the audience, well, they're not too far away with a score there of 4.7. And a reminder, I don't know the audience scores until we go through the images together here. Next up, Conor Bradley. And there were some good moments from Conor today. He never shirks the physical challenges. He does get involved in quite a few little tussles out there. And it was a performance full of energy. But again, not much from a creative spark. We see more from Frimpong when he came on. Although, yes, he did come on ahead of him. Up the pitch, he was more as a winger at that point. But I thought it was more encouraging today from Conor. But all around, just not a great defensive performance from us. And we were being rather generous in both wide positions. So for Mr. Bradley, I'm giving a 5.5, and the audience have gone a bit higher there with a score of 5.9. Konate. Look, I don't know whose responsibility it is to get out and close players down or who isn't doing it, but it's not an accident that week after week after week, nobody's coming out to close down people who shoot. Sometimes they fly over, and sometimes, like today, they fly into the top corner. That aside, there was just so many times where he was caught with his body in the wrong direction or just looked switched off and not zoned in. The contract situation is going to be a distraction. His performances are going back to the shaky levels that we had seen him start the season with. So today I'm going to give him a score of 4.5, and I think it's a well-deserved 4.5, and the audience have gone a bit higher with a 4.6. Next to him, our captain. Again, not the commanding, calm, reassuring presence that we'd hoped for, not the leadership that we'd hoped for, and another performance where we shipped goals, another performance where we haven't been able to see it out, and another performance where he doesn't get his defenders out to close down shots. So it's a 5 for me from Virgil, a little bit ahead of Konate, but again, both of them and the rest of our defence just not good enough again today. The manager will tell you we only conceded a handful of chances and that we're unlucky, but we can't constantly be unlucky with these handful of chances, keep ending up with goals. Next up, Milos Kerkez, who I believe Jamie Carragher described as the fullback version of Darwin Núñez. Not my words, by the way, go check it out for yourself. And today it was a shocker. It was an absolute shocker from Kerkez, who has been coming on leaps and bounds, I think, in recent months, and I'm hoping this is a one-off. But he was just not at the races today, looked completely off it, and I'm going to give him an honest score of 4. And the audience have gone with a 5.1 for Kerkez. Into midfield, Ryan Gravenberch. So we've talked about Maka, and Maka's come in for a little bit of criticism this season. I don't think we're getting enough from Ryan anymore. And I think he's kind of gotten away with maybe some critiquing in the last couple of months. Today, I wasn't impressed with him at all. I didn't have much to say positively about our midfield in general, so I'm going to give Mr. Ryan Gravenberch a score of 5, and the audience think, well, that's a little bit too generous. They've gone even lower with a score there of 4.9. Moving on now to Curtis Jones, who, again, didn't have a good day. I feel like I'm going to say this a lot today. This was one of those days where I felt like he was taking too much out of the ball, particularly in and around the opposition penalty area. I say it all the time. Our captain said it. When you're playing against a team that are compact in moments, because I'm not going to say Leeds played with a low block, that would be unfair, but in moments when they are defending with people back behind the ball, it needs to be moved quickly. You need to try to create overloads. And Jones was just playing everything in front of them, and it was just too easy to defend against. So today for Curtis, I'm giving him a score of 5.5, and the audience have gone with a score of 5.2. Next up, the person who I definitely feel was, well, the weakest of our midfielders out there on the pitch, and that is Alexis McAllister, who just has not got going this season for me, and apparently has been a little bit outspoken about the lack of real energy, belief in that dressing room with what's going on with the manager, and who can blame him, quite frankly. But for Macca today, I'm being honest, and I'm giving him a score of 4.5, and the audience have gone with a score of 4.8 for Alexis. Next up, Florian Wirtz, who he himself, by the way, said he thought he was offside for the goal. I've got to admit, I thought he was offside for the goal, but you and I don't operate the VAR hub, so, the goal was given. But other than that, I did think he was on the edge of the game. He wasn't really involved in any way as much as he would have wanted to be. I'm delighted for him to get 2 goals in 2 games, and hopefully this does keep kicking him on. But, he won our man of the match poll. I don't know how he won it, to be honest with you, but I do give him credit for his goal. So I've given him a score of 5.5. And the audience have gone even higher there with a score of 6.6. Now, for what it's worth, I do think Wirtz is coming on all the time. And for somebody who's playing as well with a bit of discomfort, I do take that into account. I love the kid. Can't wait for him to really, really explode in the Prem. But today, I just thought he wasn't as impactful as he has been recently. So, Dominic Szoboszlai. It really, really riles me when he takes set pieces and they don't beat the first man. And it seems to happen quite a lot when he is an outswinging corner or an outswinging free kick. And it's so monotonous because we're tough enough to score from set pieces. I think it's 1 from 100 corners or 101 corners or something like that. And we know the delivery that he has. He had a free kick in the game as well that, for the life of me, I don't know why he tried to go to the goalkeeper side on. If it was perfectly positioned for a right footer, it was about 5-6 yards from the edge of the box, slightly to the left, and everything about it said up and down over the wall. The goalkeeper had given the wall that side to cover, and I don't know why he didn't go that angle. I just wasn't impressed with Dom today in general. You'll always get a lot of energy from him, but there was a lot of huffing and puffing today. So I've gone for a 5.5 for Dom, and the audience have gone a bit higher with a 5.7. Next up, Cody Gakpo. Obvious choice to put in the middle for me if you've got no Hugo Ekitike, who had a scan, that an MRI, I believe, that showed that he had some muscle strain, which is why he was ruled out late. So I understand the decision to put Cody up there. But goal aside, and I'm very grateful for that goal, I'm still not convinced by him this season. He just doesn't look like he's good enough to be in the team, in all honesty. You can see he was heartbroken on the bench when he thought he'd got the winner, celebrated it, then got substituted immediately, and we scored before he'd even sat his backside back down on the bench. So for Cody today, I'm giving him a score of 5. And I think I've given him half a point extra there for the goal, by the way, because I didn't think he was playing well. And the audience has gone for a 5.6. But let me know in the comments where you are with Cody Gakpo. Frimpong, I love this cross. I do love crosses like that are put in quickly before a defence gets a chance to reset, low across the front of the 6-yard box into that corridor of uncertainty. Anderson tried to get a leg on it, couldn't, and there was Cody Gakpo to bundle it in at the back post. We need more of that. And there have been really encouraging signs with Frimpong in recent weeks. So great to see him back there on the pitch. I know he was feeling a niggle after the last game, and he's coming back from some time away. So I do hope he can keep going, because there looks to be a real player in there, and I was very grateful for that delivery today as well. So for him, I'm giving him a 6.5 from his cameo from the bench with another assist to his name, and the audience have given Jeremy Frimpong a score of 6. Fede brought on again, 85th minute. Whether it was in relation to Adama coming on and us trying to match, or whether it was Arna doing the usual desperation, time for some garbage minutes for Fede, 85, 86. But I don't think he did much when he came on. So he's not really, although he's getting very limited minutes, he's not, it just feels like everyone's treading water here till this situation comes to a head. So I don't think he did much when he came on today at all. Love him as a guy, but ultimately, we need better players in the squad, or players at least that a manager is going to trust. And no minutes for Rio again today, by the way. So for Fede, I'm giving him a 4.5, because I really don't think he did do much in the very limited time he was on, and it's a 5.1 from the audience. And finally, Arna. I don't have any patience left. I don't have any tolerance left for the excuses, for the unlucky chance, for the low block nonsense, for the how to beat a low block, for the injuries, just for every excuse that just comes after the other. It's just monotonous. It's boring. Everybody's fed up of it. Everybody I know in the Liverpool fan base feels deflated. Everybody feels like the style of football is horrendous. The players look like they're trying out there, but they're trying in spite of the manager. What is his style? What is his philosophy? Whatever it isn't one that's suiting Liverpool. And he has to go. He has to go. I'm going to say it again. He has to go. You can say unbeaten in 9. I'll rip that unbeaten in 9 apart tonight in the late night agenda by putting it all into context. This man is out of his depth, and I don't see any point in keeping him till the summer, because it's just going to get worse. Salah's going to come back. There's going to be more issues there. Just get rid of him. Bring in somebody that can put a bit of fire in those players' bellies and at least get them out there doing the basics and fighting for the shirt, because this man can't do it. I take no pleasure in it, but I'm not going to lie about it. He needs to go. So for Arna, he gets a 4. And look at that from the audience. A 1.9. Poll after poll after poll, on platform after platform, week after week, people want the manager gone. It's time. Pull the trigger. FSG. Move him on. Doesn't matter if we can't get somebody in, the right guy for the here and now. Get somebody to just get these guys doing the basics right and reevaluate in the summer. He's out of his depth. It's time. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope to see you back here tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Until then, thank you so much for your support as always. Happy New Year to you and your families. And don't forget, it's Arsenal coming up on Thursday at the Emirates. Ain't going to be easy. We'll talk then. Bye-bye.